A hush has settled over the tree-lined drive at Kensington Palace. The kind that comes only after a storm has swept through and you're left wondering whether the next rumble of thunder will break the calm, or whether the sky has finally decided to turn blue. 4 months that storm has been Katherine's fight to reclaim her health, and each flash of lightning, an unexpected surgery, a quietly courageous video, a sudden change on the royal diary, has pulled millions of hearts into a single anxious rhythm. But now, with summer stretching across London's parks and the monarch's calendar filling once more, a new question drifts through palace corridors and coffee shop queues alike. How do you write the next chapter when the last one ended on a cliffhanger? That, dear viewers, is the riddle the Princess of Wales and her team are solving in real time. And if you've tried to follow the breadcrumbs, one balcony wave here, one missed carriage there, you'll know it's as suspenseful as any Netflix miniseries. So pour yourself a cup of tea, settle in, and let's trace the delicate choreography behind Katherine's carefully paced return to the spotlight. It begins with a single decision, almost invisible, tucked inside an Excel sheet of royal logistics. Royal Ascot, the most photographed week in British racing, was due to roll out its emerald carpet of lawns and linen suits. The provisional carriage list placed Katherine next to William in Landau No. 2, right behind King Charles and Queen Camilla. Newspapers pre-wrote headlines about hat feathers and color palettes. Couturiers cleared studio space for last-minute adjustments. And then, quietly, without fanfare, her name disappeared. The palace confirmed nothing beyond a single line: the princess was disappointed she couldn't attend. But disappointment, as any courtier will tell you, is the monarchy's politest synonym for strategic restraint. Because stepping back from Ascot wasn't a stumble, it was a choice. A message, really, disguised as an absence: she will not be hurried. Remember, we're talking about a woman who once sprinted between 6 public walkabouts in a single afternoon, high heels snagging on street grates, while she greeted thousands. But chemotherapy rewrites your internal clock. Doctors warned Katherine the real recovery would start after the final drip. Energy would return in waves, not floods. Good days, then fragile ones. The palace understood, but diaries don't rearrange themselves. Every engagement carries logistics, security, press protocols. Shift one piece and the whole chessboard moves. So how do you test your stamina without toppling the board? You pick your battles, and Katherine's first battlefield was the biggest stage of all, Trooping the Colour. One balcony appearance, yes, but behind those 3 minutes of waves sits an entire morning of horses, artillery salutes, endless standing. If she'd faltered there, the world would have noticed. She didn't. In sapphire buttons and calm smile, she stood shoulder to shoulder with a father-in-law also fighting cancer, both silently declaring, "We're still here." Hook, but what came next wasn't the triumphant sprint some expected. The very next week, she skipped Royal Ascot, an engagement that, for a healthy Katherine, is practically catnip. Why risk raising eyebrows? Because in recovery arithmetic, you don't burn your one good day on a 5-day marathon. You bank the energy for events that shore up the crown's foundations, like Garter Day, steeped in medieval pageantry, or a forthcoming early childhood summit powering her signature cause. Behind the scenes, aides describe a color-coded spreadsheet tracking Katherine's possible appearances. Green for manageable, amber for dependent on energy, red for postponed until further notice. Ascot shifted from green to amber to red in 48 hours, after oncologists reviewed her latest blood counts, not catastrophic, but low enough to trigger caution. And that's where the misunderstanding began: the public saw only the red. They hadn't seen the amber deliberations, or the green hopes pinned weeks earlier. Elsa Anderson, who once juggled such grids for the Queen's press office, put it plainly: Katherine is listening to her body. It sounds simple, yet in royal context it's borderline revolutionary. This family was built on the stiff upper lip doctrine: You showed up unless your doctor physically barred the palace door. But Elizabeth II was a queen who came of age before Twitter, before instant rumor, before every cough could spark a stock market dip in public confidence. Catherine's world is different. Transparency is no longer optional, and overpromising is riskier than a blank date on the calendar. Still, blanks don't sit well with a public long deprived of their favorite royal steadicam. After Ascot, hashtags flared, "Where is Kate?" trended for a day. So Katherine answered not with a press release, but with optics. She surfaced at the Garter Day service in Windsor, another formal heavy hitter, and looked, by all accounts, well balanced. Present. That one appearance tempered a week's worth of speculation better than any statement could. Even Jenny Bond, veteran royal correspondent, called it the photograph that steadied the ship. Yet a single photo does not guarantee smooth sailing, and inside the palace, aides know it. They watched the Daily Beast piece alleging panic over her Ascot withdrawal with clenched jaws. Did whispers about hospital dashes circulate? Some say yes, in the frantic micro-hour when schedules were upended. Was it ever an emergency? The palace won't dignify the rumor, but multiple sources insist her monitoring visits are routine, pre-planned, and well below red alert thresholds. Hook, but here's the sharper intrigue, one that barely touched tabloids. The same day Catherine's name vanished from Ascot, King Charles's social media team posted a birthday greeting to Bridget of Gloucester. Why does that matter? Because comms directors know attention is a finite resource. By foregrounding a loyal, low-drama duchess, Charles reminded the nation the firm is a relay team, not a one-woman show. It was subtle crisis management. Celebrate continuity while your star runner takes a breath. And Bridget herself. She's the monarchy's best-kept secret weapon. 781 engagements last decade, almost zero headlines. Her birthday post whispered, "Clockwork still turns even when the spotlight dims." So what next? Two events loom like mile markers, Wimbledon and a late summer early years symposium linked to Catherine's Shaping Us initiative. Tentative plans place her at centre court for the women's final. William presented the trophies last year. This year would be her turn if stamina allows. But that square remains amber, not green. Every week the tracking spreadsheet adjusts, small victories balanced against any unexpected fatigue. Meanwhile, officials quietly expand William's workload. At trooping, he led the cavalry in full colonel's uniform. Next he'll front a climate finance roundtable, representing Charles's lifelong cause, while the king focuses on measured engagements. The messaging is that of a soft regency, never acknowledged, always implied. If Katherine needs longer in the wings, the show will pivot to the prince and a cadre of iron-lunged stalwarts like Anne and Edward. Yet don't mistake caution for retreat. Behind closed doors Katherine has been greenlighting projects. An expanded early childhood mentorship scheme, a mental health content partnership with the BBC, and a quietly radical plan to convene corporate leaders on parental leave policies. Her staff say she attends virtual briefings from Windsor, camera off to hide those inevitable low-energy days, but questions sharp as ever. One advisor jokes, she's a better project manager at 60% energy than most of us on double espresso mode. Hook, and here's the twist you won't read in press releases. The monarchy is learning from her pacing. Charles still bristles at cancelling an engagement. Camilla's calendar is a tapestry of literacy and domestic abuse patronages. But Catherine's health crisis has forced the institution to accept the notion of strategic absence. Republic protesters jeer, unaccountable, yet ironically, this measured transparency about medical reality may make the monarchy feel more human, not less. We circle back to where we began, the hush after the storm. Kensington Gardens are fragrant with roses, and a children's laughter drifts from the private lawns where George practices penalty kicks. Inside, Katherine reviews a draft speech for her next big step, pencil making small edits in the margin. William peeks in, teasing, "Are you green, amber, or red today?" She rolls her eyes, smiles, but answers honestly, "Amber pushing green." And that, dear viewers, is how you write the next chapter, not by sprinting to the finish, but by moving one square on the board at a time, forward, always forward, never faster than the body allows. So what about you? Do you see wisdom in the princess's slow and steady comeback? Does skipping Ascot strike you as sensible self-care, or an overabundance of caution? Scroll down, tell us in the comments, and together let's keep watch, gently, respectfully, as Katherine turns amber into green, one deliberate step at a time.